Welcome to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This video is on your SmackDown results for May the 8th, 2020. Birthdays, you got from May the 5th, Brooke Hogan, you were born 1988. Brian Knopf, 1964. Colt Cabana, 1980. Dakota Kai, 1988. Piper Niven, 1991. Birthdays, May the 7th. Hercules Hernandez, 1956. Owen Hart, 1965. Tonga Loa, 1983. Kevin Owens, 1984. Angelico, 1987. Will Ospreay, 1993. May 8th birthdays. Tommaso Ciampa, 1985. Io Shirai, 1990. Bastion Booger, 1957. Rock and roll legend Little Richard passed away earlier in the day at the age of 87. The news was announced on his official Facebook page, known for some of his signature songs. Long Tail Sally from 1956 and Tutti Frutti 1955. That's his most famous one. I'm not familiar with his Long Tail Sally. Richard inspired countless musicians, including Jimi Hendrix. Richard opened WrestleMania 10, 1994, from Madison Square Garden with his rendition of American Beautiful. Last year, Bruce Pritchard spoke on his Something to Wrestle podcast about his interactions with Richard at WrestleMania. WWE also commented on Richard's passing. WWE is sad to learn that Little Richard, the founding father of rock and one of the most influential musicians in all time, passed away at the age of 87, with a catalog of classic to his credit, including Good Molly Miss Molly. I do remember that one. Along with it, Tutti Frutti and Long Tail Sally, memorably covered by Hall of Famer Mean Gene Okerlund on the wrestling album. Little Richard made an indelible mark on the WWE Universe with a stirring performance of American Beautiful at WrestleMania 10 in Madison Square Garden. WWE extends its condolences to Little Richard's family and friends and fans. And I myself, from the Shreveport Connection. Men's and women's Money in the Bank matches for a briefcase were taped 3 weeks ago. This indicates that Apollo Crews' abrupt push was always meant as a red herring to keep AJ Styles off of TV until the last minute. Crews won a 6-man tag team match last week, but ended the show with an injury that removed him from the Money in the Bank match. And returning AJ Styles won the gauntlet match on Raw, where the winner would take the vacated spot. Money in the Bank takes place Sunday, May 10th on the WWE Network. Most matches outside the latter matches were recorded recently at the PC Center in Florida. Bo Dallas is still employed with WWE. While some may find that unbelievable, according to Dave Meltzer, Dallas was spared because he likely didn't complain about being unhappy. A lot of the talent were released a few weeks back were chosen because they had expressed displeasure with the company or their place in it at some point. Dallas hasn't been seen on television since September when he won the 24/7 title from Drake Maverick on an episode of SmackDown. He lost the title back to Maverick minutes later. The other half of the B team, Curtis Axel, was released last week. This makes Dallas the last remaining member of the social outcast to still be employed with the WWE. Sarah Logan took to Instagram at this link and made a cryptic post. She included a shot from her last WWE appearance, which was the April 13th Raw loss to Shayna Baszler. Never again, Logan wrote as a caption. This was Logan's first Instagram post since her thank you post on April 15th, tax day, when it was announced that she was being released due to company-wide WWE budget cuts brought on by COVID-19. WWE had plans to use Logan during the 90-day no-compete clause, but there were apparently nixed after she wasn't used again this week. WWE will return to Performance Center for more tapings on Monday, May 11th, just a few days before her non-compete expires on May 15th. There was no word yet on if WWE is bringing her back for the last taping, but her new Instagram post could indicate that she's completely done now. Sarah, who is married to Eric of the Viking Raiders, has changed names on her social media accounts to her real name, Sarah Rowe, and her handles to @SarahRowe. Hall of Famer Jerry King Lawler is reopening his barbecue restaurant after previously closing down due to the coronavirus pandemic. Lawler's Hall of Fame Bar and Grill in Memphis, Tennessee, announced today that they are reopening with a social distancing guideline in place. Many restaurants have been forced to close or were limited to takeout only during the COVID-19 outbreak. Complying with the regulations from the city of Memphis, we will reopen today with the social distancing measures in place. We are excited to see you on Beale Street as you were to be here. Please remain aware of your surroundings, the restaurant tweeted today. They added, we're excited to serve you again. We'll be operating with limited hours, but look forward to seeing you soon. Lawler retweeted the announcement and wrote, trying to slowly get back to normal. The restaurant located at 159 Beale Street in Memphis, Tennessee. Also noted that they will operate under limited hours for the time being. Unknown about his local restaurant around just beyond Shreveport, past the lake. Can't think of the name of the city right now. But anyways, Impact star Sami Callihan called out former WWE star Eric Young on social media. As noted in March, Young was one of the several WWE superstars to be released due to COVID-19 before signing with WWE in 2016. Young had a 12-year career with Impact Wrestling. The former Impact World Champion tweeted that Eric Young fears him. Callihan wrote, real talk at Eric Young fears at Sami Callihan. At Impact Wrestling, hashtag reality is lost. Eric Young did reply to him minutes later, writing that the fear is so 2006, including to his paranoia gimmick in Impact. His full tweet at reality is lost is a fitting tag. Eric Young fears nothing. Fear is so 2006 to 2008. Sami Callihan also had his own stint in WWE. While in NXT, he was known as Solomon Crow. He was released in 2015. Callihan made his Impact debut on November 5th, 2017 at Bound for Glory, while Apollo Crews was pulled from Sunday's Money in the Bank ladder match due to a shoreline injury at the hands of U.S. champion Andrade. It looks like this push will continue. There's speculation on Crews possibly making a full heel turn and being in a stable with NXT superstar Brendan Vick and Shane Thorne, which is led by MVP. Wrestling Observer newsletter reports that this stable is one of several options being considered for Crews, but not necessarily the end direction for him. There was a lot of social media criticism over how WWE apparently stopped Crews' Money in the Bank push before it really got going. As the Money in the Bank ladder match was taped at WWE headquarters during the week of April 13th, the storyline was always had Crews qualifying but not competing in the match due to AJ Styles' return. WWE looked to make up for what happened to Crews by giving him more exposure. He could be the main active superstar in the stable with Vink, Thorne, and Mouthpiece MVP, if that happens. WWE has big plans for Vink and officially see him as a long-term project that will eventually get a major push. Unless things change, WWE had Vink and Thorne defeat Ricochet and Cedric Alexander on this week's Raw, after MVP encouraged them for the entire week leading up to the match. MVP indicated after this week's Raw that he's inviting Thorne and Vink to join him. No word yet on how Crews will join them or when he might return from storyline knee injury. Stay tuned for updates on plans for Crews and possible new Raw stable. Thanks to the source of Wrestling Observer newsletter. Kazuchika Okada has donated 5 million yen, which is $47,010 United States dollars to Nippon Foundation Special Coronavirus Relief Fund, according to NJPW1972.com. Contribution will support doctors, nurses, and volunteers working in the front lines combating the coronavirus in Japan. In Okada's statement, he said he's always grateful for NJPW's fans' support and feels it's his turn to lend support. Also noted earlier, NJPW postponed Wrestle Dynasty to 2021, next year. The event was set to take place at Madison Square Garden. It was announced a few days ago that the promotion had to cancel the Best of Super Juniors tour due to current pandemic. The tour was set to begin on May 12th and end on June 6th. Yesterday, on the 7th of May, would have marked the 55th birthday of WWE legend Owen Hart. Hart was born on May 7th, 1965, and passed away on May 23rd, 1999, after a tragic accident at the WWE Over the Edge pay-per-view. Vince's Dark Side of the Ring series will tell Owen's story for their season 2 finale, which airs on Tuesday, May 19th at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Well, by the time I get the video uploaded, it may be before today, so it'll let you know. The official Twitter account for the Owen Hart Foundation, which is ran by Owen's widow, Dr. Martha Hart, tweeted to promote the show this week and revealed that the episode will feature never before seen footage. It was also noted that the Vice episode has the full support of Dr. Hart and the Foundation. 2 weeks and counting with the full support of Dr. Hart and the OHF Vice Media's Dark Side of the Ring is releasing tragic story of Owen Hart's final days with never seen footage. Show airs on Tuesday, May 19th, on USA's Vice on TV and Crave TV in Canada at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 p.m. Pacific Time. Do watch, the account wrote. Owen Hart Foundation website notes that the Vice crew flew to Calgary last year to film OHF members Dr. Hart, Virginia Xavier, Tammy Christopher, and Owen's daughter, Athena Hart, for the special. They then interviewed Martha and Owen's son, Oje Hart, O-J-E, in Toronto. The website also has photos from the filming. On a related note, one fan in the replies asked about the foundation using a painting of Owen for the logo. The foundation responded, "This is a painting of a real picture of Owen that we loved, which is why it's our OHF trademark." Dr. Hart is currently promoting the OHF May long weekend Sylvan Lake Food Bank drive to benefit the main food bank in Sylvan Lake, Alberta, Canada. Also seen in the tweet, Martha is encouraging fans to donate supplies to the drive on Monday, May 18th. The OHF also noted on Twitter that Dr. Hart is working closely with officials from one of their partners, Momentum, to help ease the financial burden brought on by the COVID-19 pandemic. Details on their work can also be seen in a tweet. The foundation held their 2020 Easter food drive for the Calgary Food Bank a few weeks back and had such strong response that they plan to do it every year now. According to the website, Easter food drive was done to benefit those most affected by the COVID-19 in the area and elsewhere. And you can see Facebook video of Martha after their cars were filled with supplies. And I do apologize, I did not get the link for that. But you can search for it on Facebook. The Owen feature documentary is still being worked on as well. Foundation told a fan on Twitter that the film is still a work in progress, and the official page for the movie noted on April 7th that things were moving forward. Not just the episode for that, but there's a special movie about Owen Hart himself. Martha endorsed the movie back in October 2018. something she's never done for WWE projects, and has been adamant about staying firm on that decision. The website for the firm notes that it is a feature-length documentary planned for a cinema release. Breakneck Films, out of the UK, is producing the project, and Western Edge Pictures is co-producing. Kaleidoscope Film Distribution is the distributor. The film website lists Vaughn Seville as the producer, Lee Brazier as the executive producer, Joe Lewis as the writer-director, and Keaton Stone as the other producer. New 2021 dates have been announced for the next WWE Live event tour for Australia and New Zealand. Also noted, live events were originally scheduled for August of this year, but those dates were postponed due to coronavirus pandemic. The tour will now run in late July 2021. Following dates were announced today by the WWE Australia and local promoter TEG Dainty. Thursday, July 29, 2021, Rod Laver Arena in Melbourne, Australia. Friday the 30th, 2020, Kudos Bank Arena in Sydney, Australia. Saturday, July 31st, 2021, Spark Arena in Auckland, New Zealand. Superstars will be featured in a new collaboration from the King of Fighters All-Star mobile video game. The KOF All-Star X WWE collaboration update will be released on Thursday, May 14th. And I'll give you more news on that date. Netmarble has not made the full announcement yet, but the graphic that surfaced on Twitter reveals The Rock, Undertaker, John Cena, Seth Rollins, SmackDown Tag Team Champion Kofi Kingston, Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch for the game. KOF All-Star is available for Apple, iOS, and Android devices. Full details have not been announced yet, but I'll keep you updated. Findings were released this week from an audit into the Mississippi Department of Human Services after several people were arrested back in early February, including former WWE talent Brett DiBiase. According to PW Insider, the scandal was described as one of the largest investment scandals over in the state and had direct connections to the DiBiase family. Also noted back in February, DiBiase was among those indicted in the scandal, along with the former director of the Mississippi Welfare Agency. Others, it was alleged that Brett was given money to go to a drug treatment facility in Malibu, and that those funds were earmarked for welfare programs in the state. Brett was allegedly given the money as payment for classes that he didn't reach on drug abuse. It was later reported that there was a DiBiase family connection as Hart of David Ministries, the nonprofit religious organization ran by the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase Sr. Reportedly received more than $2.1 million in welfare from the state over a few years. After Brett had been working for the state, this came after the organization received just $5,000 in grants in 2013, but were paid $271,000 in welfare money during the same year that Brett was hired to work in the Mississippi Department of Human Services as a senior official. Ted's organization received as much as $900,000 one year. Ted Hart of David Ministries spent the full amount it received, which was $2,126,739 from May of 2017 through earlier this budget year. Ted was paid $84,517 as president of the organization. In a 2018 contract, Hart and David had pledged to establish a network of partnerships, services, and resources throughout Mississippi communities for faith-based and self-activities, but there was no evidence on how all of the money was actually used. While the organization was receiving funds from the state, 98% of welfare requests were being turned down by Mississippi. Hart and David is no longer receiving any funds from the state of Mississippi. In another family connection, it was revealed that the Mississippi Community Education Center paid Brett's brother, former WWE superstar Ted DiBiase Jr., to provide training to human services employees in late 2018 and to early 2019. A woman who answered the door at the home of Ted Jr. in Clinton, Mississippi, declined to comment, but did say that the Clarion Ledger, the original newspaper to break the scandal, has done fictitious reporting in the past. In findings report, noted that the Mississippi Community Education Center, MCEC, and the Family Resource Center of North Mississippi, FRC, two nonprofit groups, paid large sums to Ted Sr., Ted Jr., and Brett for work they did not do, for unreasonable travel costs or little proof that the program helped the needy. MCEC and FRC paid large sums to wrestlers Ted DiBiase Sr. and Jr. and Brett DiBiase for work that was not performed, for unreasonable travel costs or with little proof the program helped the needy, as the report said. The findings report notes that the audit has been forwarded to the federal government, who will decide the consequences for the Mississippi Department of Human Services, DHS. Those consequences could include cuts to future grants from the federal government or penalties, criminal investigation into the scandal by the auditor's office, and the federal government continues. This audit should be the wake-up call to everyone in government. The old way of doing things, where you do whatever your boss or a person who controls a lot of the money tells you to do, or you ignore the law around how to spend the money because you think no one is looking, those days are over, said State Auditor Shad White. Ted DiBiase put his home on sale after being named in a welfare fraud investigation, according to a report by the Mississippi Auditor's Office. According to the report, more than $98 million from the Temporary Assistance for Needy Families Program, or called TANF, TANF, were funneled to two Mississippi-based nonprofit organizations over 3 years. About $94 million was questioned by state auditors, meaning they couldn't verify the money was spent legally. Funds were also used to enrich celebrities tied to Mississippi, including Brett Favre and the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. Realtor.com is reporting DiBiase, amidst the current scandal, is putting his lakeside home in Madison, Mississippi up for sale for under $1.6 million. The 6,000 square foot property was built in 2010. DiBiase began the nonprofit organization Heart of David Ministries in 1999. And my brother did get a book. My brother and my mom did get a book from that, from one of their shows or events. The organization received more than $2 million in federal welfare funds since 2017. According to records obtained by the Clarion Ledger, the money began coming in shortly after DiBiase's son, Brett DiBiase, was hired as deputy administrator at the Mississippi Department of Human Services earlier that year, though the organization continued receiving funds after his son left the MDHS. Corey Graves recently interviewed Jeff Hardy on After the Bell to talk in depth about his struggles with alcoholism and his road to recovery. Hardy made his return to SmackDown and hopes for one more good run before he retires. He talked about his desire to hold the world title one more time and possibly feud with the Fiend Bray Wyatt, just like they did in Impact. Just like they were teasing in Impact Wrestling. When I came back the first time after I got my rotator cuff surgery, I brought the face paint back, Hardy said. I got to deal with Randy Orton and got my first Hell in a Cell. Building up to that was so much fun. I felt important and relevant again, but now I would love to win the world title. I love the design of the new world title and the universal title, so I would like to do that before it's all said and done. I just want to have the one more good run and maybe become the world champion or universal champion. I would love to do something with the Fiend Bray Wyatt. I've got some crazy cool ideas. Beth helped me with this one. What if there was like a Twilight Zone? Because back when we did the Hardy Show, we had the thing called Twilight Zone. Sort of like a spoof Twilight Zone. What if he beat me and put me under the ring and all of a sudden I'm in a fun house, but I'm in a black and white TV. Then all of a sudden, like the Twilight Zone, then Beth was like, what if it was the Twilight Zone? We can do it like you're trying to get out of the black and white TV. I'm just crazy about crazy creativity like that, just throwing out a pitch and seeing if that sticks. The Boneyard match was one of the biggest matches of WrestleMania 36 in terms of social media, fans, and wrestler buzz. Jeremy Borash helped work on the match that had previously experienced with cinematic matches, having worked on the final deletion with Matt and Jeff Hardy, the one I was talking about earlier. Matt gave his reaction to the match, saying that he envisioned cinematic matches having its own branch in pro wrestling. And Jeff gave his own praise for the match as well. That's other ideas he has for cinematic matches. Watching the Boneyard match, I was envious because I was like that behind the scenes filming stuff like that. Hardy admitted. It's just so fun. When you're filming through all those hours of the night, when you get to watch the finished product back. The match was amazing. Like when AJ came out of that coffin, I was like, oh yeah, I know where this is going, what mind this is coming from, because it reminded me a lot of Final Deletion. The cinematic stuff can now be really useful. You can get to all of these cool places to film stuff like that when you're not in front of a crowd. Man, I would love that. I was on my motocross track and I had this vision of like, what if there was some kind of motocross match, like there's a ring set up in the middle of it. There's all this stuff around it, and there's a race going on at the same time. You get all these crazy, nutty ideas. That's the beauty of pro wrestling. Anything is possible. To see that is an honor, because all that deletion stuff, I'm so proud of all that. It was so fun. The first one, it was like 6 people moving lights, doing our spots and doing our matches. It's very fulfilling when you do stuff like that, and it takes off worldwide. Another Broken Universe match on Impact was Delete or Decay. Jeff reminisces about working on the match with former Impact Wrestling President Billy Corgan about how he hopes to do more of these kinds of matches in the future. I'll never forget it. Was the second Delete. It was called Delete or Decay. I was like, man, I gotta design me a cross, Hardy said. So my Enigma cross came from the Prince cross. I'll never forget Billy Corgan was here at my house and he was helping me direct it. I dug a trench that made the symbol and we lit it on fire. It was incredible. We got a killer drone shot of it. The Smashing Pumpkins lead man was out there. We're all fired up. They're amazing memories, and I do hope to create more. A main event opening kicks off the show. After usual WB signature, R-Truth, Cal Bloom make their entrances as Tom Phillips and MVP check on commentary. Cal Bloom is the son of Wayne Bloom, formerly of the Beverly Brothers. If you didn't know, well, I just told you so. Sorry about your dang look. I spoiled it for you. R-Truth versus Cal Bloom. They lock up. Truth locks in a headlock on Bloom. Bloom sends Truth to the ropes. They lock up again. Bloom backs Truth in the corner. Bloom attempts to close on Truth in the corner. Truth moves out of the way. Truth elbows Bloom in the face. Bloom eventually hits a power slam on Truth. Bloom pins Truth for a 2 count. Bloom goes for the foul jobber. Truth gets out of it. Truth hits an attitude adjustment on Bloom. Who does he think is? John Cena? Truth then pinned Bloom for the 3 count. The recap SmackDown was shown featuring the Otis defeating Dolph Ziggler to qualify for the Money in the Bank ladder match. Highlight shown with AJ Styles winning the gauntlet match on Raw to qualify for the Money in the Bank ladder match. Ruby Riott and the Women's Tag Team Champion Kairi Sane make their entrances. They are dueling it out. Kairi Sane versus Ruby Riott. They lock up. Sane backs Riott to the ropes. Riott locks in a headlock on Sane. Sane reverses it to a wrist lock on Riott. Riott backs Sane to the ropes while pulling her hair. Riott eventually connects with a kick to the face of Sane. Riott ascends to the turnbuckles. Riott hits back body senton on Sane. Riott pins Sane for a 2 count. Riott goes to the second rope. Sane pulls Riott by her hair into a kick to the face. Sane hits an Alabama Slam on Riott. Sane ascends to the turnbuckles. Sane nails the insane elbow from top and on Riott and pins her for the win. Recap of SmackDown was shown, featuring verbal confrontation between Bray Wyatt and Universal Champion Braun Strowman. Recap of Raw was shown to close the show. And that featured Drew McIntyre defeating Murphy. SmackDown on Fox opened up with Mandy Rose getting ready in the back. Otis walks up and asks what he can do to help. Mandy has been ready for this match, and she's ready. She tells Otis to focus on Money in the Bank, and she will take care of Sonya Deville. Rose and Otis kiss before she walks off, of course, on the cheek. Camera cuts backstage to Deville warming up. Dolph Ziggler walks up, and she talks about how she's been ready. Ziggler says he will be waiting for her here. He asks her to take it easy on Rose's face for him. She can't make any promises. Deville walks off. And the match up is that. After the break, our winning match of the night, Mandy Rose makes her way out. Michael Cole saw welcomes us to SmackDown. Chimed in by Corey Graves, and they go over Rose and Deville's feud. Deville was out next as Greg Hamilton does ring introductions. Bell rings and they go at it. Rose unloads and beats Deville down in the corner. Referee tries to get her to back off. Rose keeps the offense going, but has some trouble with her knee. Deville takes advantage, but Rose drops her and keeps the offense coming. Deville retreats to the floor for a breather. Rose yells at her to come back in. Deville comes back to the apron, and Rose runs into a kick. Deville comes back into the ring with a knee. Deville with a running knee for a close 2 count. Deville talks her trash and keeps Rose down, taunting her. Deville manhandles Rose up, slamming her back to the mat for body scissors while talking trash to her face. Deville looks to rip Rose's lashes off. Deville keeps the trash talking, and shots coming while on the mat. Of course, they're probably fake. They pin them off. I'm just floating them off. Deville goes on about how she's going to hurt her former friend and partner. Deville wants another kick to get out for more punishment. Deville then runs the ropes, but Rose clotheslines her out of nowhere. And then again, second clothesline. Rose with a running knee to knock Deville out to the floor. Rose follows and slams Deville's face in the announce table, calling her a B-word. Rose slams Deville face first into the steel steps as the referee counts. Rose launches Deville into the steps. Rose launches Deville over the announce table as Graves and Cole quickly move out of the way. Rose keeps talking trash, and she brings Deville back into the ring. Rose yells at Deville to get back up and fight. Rose goes for the double underhook, but it's blocked. Deville blocks the knee, and Rose up for the pin out of nowhere. When the match on Deville. After the match, Rose is shocked as the music hits. Deville quickly retreats to the stage and starts laughing as Rose looks on from the ring. They tear each other down. So the come segment, Universal Champion Braun Strowman will face off with Bray Wyatt. Also, the Forgotten Sons, John Morrison and The Miz versus SmackDown Tag Team Champions New Day and Lucha House Party. Back to commercial. Forgotten Sons, John Morrison and The Miz, 8-man tag versus the New Day and Lucha House Party. Back for the break. Out first comes SmackDown Tag Team Champions New Day, Big E and Xavier. Les Dorado and Graham Metallic of the Lucha House Party are out next for this 8-man tag match. Out next comes Forgotten Sons, Wesley Blake, Steve Cutler versus Jackson Riker. We see how they picked up a non-title win over the champs last week. John Morrison and Miz were out last. The bell rings and Kobe starts off with the Miz. They trade holds and go to the corner. A big brawl breaks out with all 4 teams. Forgotten Sons, Miz, Morrison get sent out. Big E launches Kobe out to the floor to take out the Forgotten Sons. Lance and Metallic run the ropes and nail suicide dives to Miz and Morrison. Metallic, Dorado, and Kobe and Big E stand tall in the ring now as we go to commercial. Back for the commercial. Blake is in control of Big E, but turns around and rocks Cutler as he tries to run in, sending him to the floor. Kobe tags in and drops a big shot to Blake in the middle of the ring for a 2 count. Kobe drop kicks Blake across the ring. Kobe tags in Big E, hits a splash. Big E runs the ropes for a splash of his own. Dorado and Metallic tag in for a double team on Blake. Blake keeps taking splashes from all opponents in the middle of the ring for another 2 count. Blake is legal once again. Kobe is legal once again, keeping Blake down in the middle of the ring, but he can't get a pin. Kobe charges in the corner, but Cutler helps Blake move, and Kobe lands hard. Miz tags in and unloads on Kobe while he's down. Miz taunts Kobe and nails a running boot to the face. Morrison tags in for a double team, moves. Morrison keeps control and hits a running knee to the face. Kobe kicks out too. Cutler tags in and kicks Kobe while Morrison holds him. Cutler keeps control of Kobe on the ropes. Riker with a cheap shot from the floor while Miz and Cutler are distracting the referee. Blake tags in and keeps Kobe grounded in the corner. Kobe finally gets free with a jawbreaker, but he ends up down on the floor after fighting the numbers game. We go to commercial after a big dive to the floor. As the Hills keep control, back from the break, Morrison has Kobe down. Blake comes back in and keeps Kobe down. Blake with a double stretch. Cutler ends up coming in, but Kobe sends him to the floor. Kobe fights Miz off. Cutler sends Big E into steel steps to prevent the tag. Kobe catches Miz with an SOS in the ring. Metallic and Morrison tag at the same time. Metallic flies off the top and takes him down. Metallic with more offense. Metallic with a missile drop kick as Lance tags in. Blake and Cutler grabs Lance in midair, but ends up taking them out with a double stunner. More back and forth between the two teams. Lance spikes Morrison on his head. Metallic with a moonsault to Morrison. Lance comes off the top with a Cedar Star press, but the Forgotten Sons save the pinfall. They send Metallic out next. Kobe goes to work and sends Blake out. Big E runs back in and drops Cutler into a Kobe kick. Blake pulls Kobe off into the apron. Miz sends Big E to the floor. Blake and Cutler with a big double team to Big E on the floor. Blake powerbombs Kobe off the top onto Big E on the floor. Metallic drop kicks Morrison, but Morrison comes back in with a big kick. Lance rolls Morrison up for a 2 count. Morrison misses the knee, and Lance rolls him up for another 2 count. More back and forth between Miz and Lance. Morrison misses Starship Pain and lands on his feet. Miz tags in as Lance spikes Morrison on his head again. Miz runs it in with a scorecard rally on Lance for the pin and the win. I did not see a tag for that, so I don't see how he got pinfall. But they won the match. Morrison, Miz, and Forgotten Sons. After the match, Miz stands tall. As his music plays, Morrison joins him. We see the baby faces trying to recover on the outside. Forgotten Sons enter the ring and just stare Miz and Morrison down. Miz and Morrison try to high-five them, but they want none of it. Go to replays. The two winning teams have some words, but nothing breaks out. As they cut to backstage with King Corbin with Caleb Braxton. He talks about what they done to Daniel Bryan and Drew Gulak and says no one would want to be their partner. Corbin is looking ahead to Money in the Bank and torturing his opponent to the halls of WWE headquarters. He talks about possibly throwing Rey Mysterio off the building. He jokes on Otis, says wait next, and calls him a loser like his girlfriend Mandy Rose. Corbin says he can already feel the cool fresh air as Mr. Money in the Bank. Jan is open. Still to come, Jeff Hardy's back. Back to commercial. Back to the break, Cole leads us to a video package of WWE superstars participating in Real Heroes Project to honor healthcare workers on the front line of the coronavirus pandemic. We go back to the ring. Renee Young goes out with a microphone. She brings out Jeff Hardy. She brings up recent 4-part series. She asks what Jeff has to prove. Jeff talks about how he's seen the highs and the lows and how every low taught him how to get back up. We see Sheamus walking in the back and he's not impressed. He can still hear the fans chanting his name. He goes on about how fans have always stuck with him. He asks fans to stay with him for one more good run. Talking about Jeff Hardy back in the ring. He knows he's not done. Sheamus is shown in the back again, and he's seen enough. Jeff mentions Sheamus being here, and he calls him out. Music hits, and out comes Sheamus to the stage. Sheamus says, this is the saddest thing he's ever seen in WWE. The adrenaline junkie comes crawling back to beg for one more sip off the bottle. And the fans aren't even here to give him a swig. Sheamus asks Jeff who he thinks he still cares. Asks Jeff who he thinks still cares about him. Sheamus says no one will say it to his face because he's a legend. But Sheamus will. Sheamus says Jeff may have had every title and had the fans, but they're tired of all those suspensions. They're tired of the releases, the no-shows, the wasted chances. Jeff says to be such a hater, Sheamus sure knows a lot about him. Sheamus says he's not a hater. He used to respect Jeff. The recent video package made Sheamus wonder how many false comebacks a man can have before we realize he's ever coming back. Jeff says Sheamus should ask himself the same thing. Fella. Stealing his catchphrase. Sheamus goes on and says he's been putting out SmackDown's weakest flames since he's returned. And now it's time to put Jeff's out. Sheamus strikes the mic and rushes down, but Jeff meets him. They go at it, and Jeff hits a whisper in the wind. Jeff follows up with a twist of fate to stun Sheamus. Jeff goes to the top and does a swanton. Jeff goes to the opposite corner and yells out, posing as the music starts up. Jeff heads to the ramp and Sheamus recovers. Sheamus yells out to Jeff, threatening him over disrespect. Sheamus says he's going to rip Jeff apart. The end of the segment. Still to come, Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman will face off. Back from the break, we get a preview of Chapter 1 with The Undertaker, The Last Ride, on the WWE Network for Sunday after Money in the Bank. We go back to the ring. Out comes Universal Champion Braun Strowman. Strowman says the truth is he did debut with the Wyatt family, but Bray Wyatt is responsible for his success and his deranged if he thinks so. He says Wyatt felt threatened by him back then, but he should feel even more threatened now. Strowman goes on and says if Wyatt has something to say to him, come say it to his face. Strowman paces around and waits for Wyatt to come out. Firefly Funhouse music hits up, and he's wearing a sweater version of Wyatt. Comes out, walking down the ramp. Smiling, staring at Strowman. Strowman is all business as he stares back. Wyatt says, it's a shame it had to come to this. All he ever wanted was for Braun to say he's sorry. Strowman says he owes Wyatt nothing, and Wyatt says he knows better than that. Strowman says Wyatt will be the one who's sorry to Sunday. Wyatt goes on about how he's created Wyatt, and he knows what he's going to say. And he knows what's best. Strowman tells Wyatt to shut up. He knows nothing about Strowman or what he will do or say. Wyatt says all he knows is Strowman needs to come home. He doesn't belong out there with the rest of them. Wyatt can show Strowman how to be like him. He just needs to remove that burden around his waist so he can come home. Wyatt says it's the only thing standing in Strowman's way. Wyatt says he needs to come get the title back. Trying to get Strowman to say, get these hands. Strowman says he's not an idiot. He's not falling for that. Strowman goes on and says Wyatt doesn't know him, and this all ends at Money in the Bank. Wyatt laughs and says their journey is just beginning. Wyatt says he doesn't want to spoil the fun, but let him give Strowman a taste of things to come. Wyatt then brings out the black sheep mask and hands it to Strowman, telling him to take it and come home. Strowman just looks at it. We see each of the Funhouse puppets being shown, telling Strowman to do it and come home. Strowman takes the mic and says he is home, and he's got the Universal title. And this Sunday, he's going to keep it, and Wyatt will be stuck playing with his puppets. They tear each other down. Strowman mocks Wyatt, waves goodbye, and says he will see Wyatt on Sunday. Goodbye. Strowman's music hits, and he exits in the back. Wyatt says he's tried. He keeps apologizing to Strowman, saying he's tried. Wyatt stares Strowman down as he talks trash from the stage. So the comes segment for the Daniel Bryan and Drew Gulak team with a mystery man. We see Otis walking backstage. Daniel and Drew Gulak walk up and ask how Mandy Rose is. She's beat up, but she will be okay. They ask Otis if he heard what King Corbin said about him earlier. He didn't, because he was with Mandy. They tell Otis to walk with them so they can tell him what Corbin said. They walk off together. Next, we got Sasha Banks and Bayley versus Tamina Snuka and Lacey Evans. The match is up next. Back from a break. Out first comes Sasha Banks, women's champion Bayley. Also out next, and they hit the ring together. Out next comes Lacey Evans. Tamina Snuka was out next. Bayley and Banks stall some to start, but Tamina runs over both of them on the corner. They try to stall some more and double team, but she keeps control. Evans applauds her. Bayley ducks a clothesline, but Tamina ends up slamming Bayley in the middle of the ring. Tamina smashes Bayley in the corner. Bayley jumps on Tamina's back, but Banks comes in off the tag. Bayley chops Tamina's leg, but she's still up. Banks with a knee to Tamina's face. Banks comes in and unloads on Tamina. Banks with a shoulder touch in the corner. Bayley tags in, and then they unload on Tamina with double teaming in the corner. Bayley with a boot to the face to bring Tamina back down in the corner. Bayley works Tamina over and tags Banks back in. Tamina blocks the double team and drops them. Bayley saves Banks from a small drop, pulling her out to the floor for a breather. Bayley tells the referee they need a break. Evans comes over to them at ringside. Evans ducks a clothesline from Banks and drops her with a big elbow. Evans stares Bayley down against the apron now. Tamina grabs Bailey from the ring, but gets hung up on the middle rope. Bailey comes back in off the top, but Tamina meets her on the way down with a big right hand. Banks and Bailey are down on the outside for a breather again. Back to commercial. Back for the break. Evans rocks Banks with a bunch of knees from the apron. Evans drops Banks with a kick. Evans launches herself over the top rope with an elbow to Banks. Evans goes to the top for a moonsault, but Bailey distracts her on the apron. Banks stops the moonsault. Banks keeps control and hits a basement drop kick for a 2 count. Banks and Bailey double team Lacey with big elbows. Bailey covers for a 2 count. Bailey works Evans around in the ring again, using the middle rope on her to choke her. Banks with a cheap shot while the referee is distracted with Tamina trying to come in. Banks tags in, and they double team Evans in the corner. Bailey is illegal again, and they take turns with strikes on Evans. She tries to fight back, but they beat her down in the middle of the ring. Evans ends up blocking a double team and tagging in Tamina. Bailey and Banks knock Tamina to the floor before she can come in. Banks follows, but Tamina launches her into the barrier. Banks jumps on Tamina's back, but Tamina slings her, and she hits the ground. Tamina brings it back in the ring and levels Bailey with a clothesline and a headbutt. Tamina with a corner splash to Bailey. Tamina launches Bailey across the ring. Tamina with another running splash in the corner. Tamina crawls to the top for the big splash, but Banks runs at her from the apron. Banks gets dropped, but Bailey stops Tamina and attacks her. Tamina sends Bailey back to the mat, but lands on knees when she goes for the splash. Bailey ends up throwing a pit some and hitting Bailey the belly on Tamina. Bailey goes to top rope and hits a flying elbow drop, but somehow Tamina kicks out. Evans ends up coming in and dropping Banks with a woman's right, but Bailey sends her to the floor. Bailey turns around to a super kick from Tamina. Tamina then does a Samoan drop and pins Bailey for the win. After the match, Tamina stands with Evans. As the music hits, we go to replays. Banks and Bailey are down on the outside trying to recover. So to come, 6-man main event, back to commercial. Announcers send us to a video package for Money in the Bank. Graves narrates, showing us parts of the headquarters and talking about how the men's and women's Money in the Bank ladder match will be all over the building, going to the roof. Braxton is backstage with Carmella and Dana Brooke. She asks Dana if lightning will strike twice. After it did with the win over Naomi this Sunday in Money in the Bank, with a Money in the Bank win, she teases Carmella about not believing in her. Brooke says no one knows what to expect in this match, and she thinks she has as good of a chance as anyone else. Carmella mentions winning Money in the Bank twice in the past. She says this is everyone for herself, and friendships or alliances won't matter. Carmella says when she climbs the corporate ladder on Sunday, she will remind everyone once again why Mella is money. Daniel Bryan, Drew Gulak, and Otis, the mystery partner, versus Cosmetic Corbin, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Cesaro. Your main event. Go out to the ring for tonight's main event. Cesaro was out after Corbin was out first, followed last by Shinsuke. Back for the break, we see the mystery hacker, shadowy figure is at his control panel. He says, we're watching and listening. Video flashes images of Tamina Snuka and Lacey Evans. SmackDown Tag Team Champions, The New Day. Sasha Banks and SmackDown Women's Champion Bailey. And Carmella and Dana Brooke. Was this meant to tease heel turns for Evans, Big E, Carmella, or a swerve? The best thing about anger is you always hear it before you can see it. The hooded hacker says he plays a voicemail with a woman saying payback is coming and it's coming real soon. Now, the truth will be heard. Flashes come on the screen. We go back to the ring. Out comes Daniel Bryan and Gulak. Mystery partner is out next. Otis. My guess on that, probably Sasha Banks turning on Bailey. Bell rings and Bryan unloads on Corbin for payback over last week. Corbin fights back and drops Bryan. Corbin goes for a Boston Crab, but Bryan blocks it. Bryan mounts Corbin with a right and left. Bryan kicks Corbin again and tags Gulak in for a quick double team. Corbin with a right hand to Gulak's throat to turn it around. Corbin talks trash and holds Gulak's face, but Gulak fights back and drop kicks him, sending him to the floor for a breather. Cesaro and Gulak are legal now as they go at it. Cesaro drops Gulak with a big shoulder. Cesaro runs again and they trade They tangle again. Glock catches Cesaro with a big super power slam for a 2 count. Nakamura ends up nailing Glock with a big uppercut while the referee was distracted by Corbin. Cesaro with a gut wrench suplex to Glock for a 2 count. Nakamura comes in and works Glock over. Glock gets to Otis and makes a tag. Otis unloads on Nakamura and then knocks the other 2 off the apron. Otis and Nakamura tangle and Otis slams him. Otis calls for the caterpillar on Nakamura and he nails it, dropping the elbow. Cesaro runs in, but Otis drives him into the mat. Glock and Bryan toss Cesaro to the floor while where Nakamura and Corbin are. The 2 teams face off with the babyface stand tall in the ring. We go to commercial at that point. Back from the break, Corbin has Bryan grounded in the middle of the ring. We see how Corbin tossed Bryan over the barrier to the concrete during the break. Bryan fights up and out now. He swings at the others on the apron and Corbin drops him. Bryan comes back and kicks Corbin's knee out. Otis and Glock wait for tags. Cesaro tags in, knocks Otis off the apron with a big boot. Glock tags in and rocks Cesaro. Glock beats Cesaro into the corner with strikes. Referee warns Glock as he stomps away. Glock catches the kick and launches Cesaro over his head. Cesaro puts Glock on the top and hits a big uppercut. Glock keeps spotting and tosses Cesaro, rolling through for a chicken wing submission. Cesaro powers up and slams Glock down to break the hold. Corbin tags in and Glock clotheslines Cesaro to the floor. Corbin comes in, but Glock beats him down. Glock goes for the gulag on Corbin. Nakamura breaks it up. Otis shocks Nakamura from behind. Cesaro and Otis go at it now. Otis takes kicks and just hulks up. Otis dumps Cesaro over the top to the floor. Corbin sends Otis over the top to the floor to interrupt his celebration. Glock rolls Corbin up for a 2 count from behind. Corbin and Glock keep trading offense. Glock with a flying clothesline from the middle rope for a 2 count. Cesaro sends Otis into a ring post. Bryan with a running knee to Cesaro. Nakamura with a big kick to Bryan's head on the floor. They're all down on the outside. Corbin has Glock in the ring, chasing him with a deep 6 out of nowhere for the pin and the win. After the match, Corbin Santal's music plays. We see the Money in the Bank briefcase hanging above the ring. Cesaro and Nakamura hold Glock. As Corbin grabs his scepter, Bryan and Otis make the save. Otis and Bryan fight Cesaro and Nakamura on the floor now, sending them over the barrier near production. Glock runs at ringside, jumps on top of the barrier, and then leaps off to take all 4 men down on the concrete. The 5 of them brawl to the back. Corbin is left alone at ringside now. Corbin sees this and looks up at the briefcase. Corbin brings a ladder into the ring. Corbin places the ladder under the briefcase and starts climbing. Bryan runs back in and beats him off the ladder. Bryan unloads with kicks in the corner now. Corbin sends Bryan into the ladder as it goes down. Corbin climbs the ladder back again for the briefcase. But Otis has returned to the ring. Otis fights Corbin into the corner. Otis grabs the ladder and drives it into Corbin's face, knocking him back down. Otis stands the ladder up again and starts climbing, but the bottom 2 rungs break. He tries to climb up again, but another one breaks. Corbin runs back in and sends Otis into the ladder. Corbin sends Otis into the corner, then out to the floor. Bryan brings another ladder in, but Corbin stomps away on him. Bryan catches a big boot and takes Corbin down with a dragon screw leg whip. Bryan stands up another ladder under the briefcase. Corbin knocks Bryan off, sending him throat first over the top rope. Corbin sends Bryan over the top to the floor on top of Otis. Corbin goes back in and climbs the ladder. He takes the briefcase and raises it in the air while sitting on top of the ladder. Corbin raises the briefcase as his music plays. Money in the Bank Go Home edition of SmackDown goes off the air. But WWE has announced another special edition of 205 Live to air on the WWE Network at 10 p.m. after SmackDown goes off the air. But the episode was titled The Matches That Made Me. Owen Lorcan featured Lorcan looking at the match that inspired him to get into pro wrestling and the most memorable match of his career. Which there was no results for that at all anywhere online. Thanks. That will conclude my video for this week's SmackDown WWE main event. Thanks and peace out. See you on the video. If you don't know, just comment, brothers and sisters.